you all were superstars in Europe. Why do you think they weren't accepted or respected in this country?
Mainly, no, not mainly. Partially because they were, most of them were dubbed. And the American audiences didn't like dubbed films.
I remember him. Also, I remember people who says how fast he was. But I didn't believe it then any more than I do now.
The only way to get him is from behind.
You can come along peaceful, or we can do it the other way.
I'd like to offer a gift here. If somebody can tell me the answer to, we have this hanged man, Andy Finity, our buddy, produced this. It's Steve Forrest. And if somebody could tell me what series our next guest, Brett Halsey, replaced Richard Long in. It's a movie series. Richard Long was a romantic lead in that, and he went off, and we do have a hand up, yes? Ma and Pa Kettle is the exact answer. Brett Halsey. Yes. Good. Pass this on down to him. All right, and with that, let's have Brett Halsey come up and sing Farmer in the Dell. Bet you never thought that would come up again, right?
Bob Forster and I were just talking about that.
Well, before we get into the spaghetti westerns, tell us a little bit about Ma and Pa Kettle. That was such a huge series, and it was hysterical. Very Marjorie Main, Percy Kilbride. How did you get the romantic lead in that?
I was under contract to Universal. It's one of those Hollywood stories like Lana Turner on the stool at the drugstore. Schwab's, yeah. But when I was a teenager, I was a page at CBS Radio, and I was one of the shows that I worked was the Jack Benny Show. So Jack and Mary took a liking to me, and one day my boss came and said, "Mary wants you to work the sponsors booth." The sponsors booth in radio was a booth above the stage, glassed in for special guests. So I said, okay, and Mary came by and she was just beaming, and she said, "I want you to meet blah." I said, "Oh, how do you do?" I was very polite, I was a nice kid. The next day, I got a call that they wanted to see me at Universal. I said, "What for?" They said, "I don't know, go to the casting. They want to see you at casting." So I went, and they said, "Well, we're thinking about putting you under contract. Do you have a scene you can read?" I said, "No." They said, "Well, we'll you have to eat this
How's
thing."
that?
Huh?
Is that comfortable?
Yeah. They said, "Well, we'll give you a scene. You come back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So 2 o'clock, I went back. I had this scene in my hand. And I said, "Well, I can do this now." And they said, "Fine, but you don't have to. We've decided to put you under contract." I said, "Okay." I was a teenager. I didn't know. I thought, well, that's the way you get into Hollywood. Somebody calls you up. So as it turned out, Mary had introduced me to William Getz, the president of Universal. And probably he said, "All right, he's a nice kid, I'll put him under contract." But that's how I got started. This is 60-some years ago, I guess. Yeah. Done 101 movies since then.
And you did some early TV westerns too, I think. Richard Carlson's Mackenzie's Raiders.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, Mackenzie's. That was I liked working with him. He was.
Did he direct many of those too? I know later in his career he started directing.
Not that I was involved in. No, I worked on Bat Masterson, Alias Smith and Jones.
Even Kung Fu, The Legend Continues. Our friend Michael Sloan was doing that up in Canada. You did one of those too, I think.
Yeah, that was funny.
You were working in Italy before the spaghetti Western boom. You had done some of the espionage, the spy films like James Bond before the Western spaghetti Western craze hit.
Before that, I was doing what they call the capo e spada, the cape and sword, like Scaramouche, Three Musketeers. I was doing a series at Fox called Follow the Sun. And when that... Oh, is that my story?
These are my notes.
Oh, okay.
Here.
No, that's,
Oh my
that's
God.
big print there. That's okay.
Yeah, well, the print's not big enough, obviously.
But anyway, I was invited to, when my series folded, almost the next day, I got an invitation to go to Rome to make a sword fighting picture. And I always loved those pictures. Scaramouche was one of my favorite films ever.
The first spaghetti Western film you did was Kill Johnny Ringo.
Right.
That's
Today We Kill, Tomorrow We Die.
which had several names. Now, wait a minute. Let's take a look at that poster. Can everybody see this? Who the heck is Montgomery Ford?
I never thought anyone would ever notice. I would get kind of difficult at times. And I wasn't sure I wanted to do that picture. So for some reason I said, okay, I'll do it, but I want to put another name on it, which was a stupid thing to do. I've done many stupid things in my life. Well, the picture became the biggest grossing Western of the year, that year. All of a sudden, Montgomery Ford was a big star.
The death of Brett Halsey.
Oh, it was so hard to kill Montgomery Ford, I tell you that.
You were then locked in with this name, Montgomery Ford.
Well, I did one other film. My contract called for 3. I just refused to do the third one because I was getting calls from Hollywood. Oh, we hear you changed your name. I said, God, no, I didn't change my name. But it's a very good film. I'm proud of that film.
I think Wade Preston, you worked with Wade Preston, who was the star of Colt 45 here at Warner Brothers.
Good actor.
He was over there for a while, too. Did you all hang out together?
Yeah. Wade was part of our group.
So what's a typical night?
No, I guess I can't tell. Especially not with our wives here.
Should we read your book?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Actually, I have a new book out. Just came out this week. It's about good people doing bad things. It's called A Grave Misunderstanding.
Speaking of film noir, you did a film that Mario Bava, who directed Black Sunday with Barbara Steele and is known for his really frightening horror films out of Italy. You did Roy Colt and Winchester Jack with him.
Yeah. Bava was one of the masters of horror in Italy, along with Lucio Fulci. But he loved comedy. He had a great sense of humor, Bava. So we did 2 comedies together. We did Roy Colt and one called 4 Times That Night. But Bava was great. I loved Bava. And I worked also for his son, Lamberto, who was a director.
When you were making those spaghetti westerns, and they were so successful over there, and most did not come to the United States, and you all were superstars in Europe, why do you think they weren't accepted or respected in this country?
Partially because they were, most of them were dubbed, and the American audiences didn't like dubbed films.
I remember him. Also, I remember people who says how fast he was. But I didn't believe it then any more than I do now.
The only way to get him is from behind.
Roderick Crawford as Luke Starr. He owns the town of Rimrock, lock, stock, and gun barrel.
Don't ever draw on me again, Gil. If you do, I'll kill you.
Did you do your own dubbing?
When I had time. If I was busy doing another picture somewhere else, then someone else would dub my voice. But I did most of them myself. Also, I dubbed other actors who were unavailable. I remember one of the critics said, That was his best film. I've never seen him act so well, but it was my voice.
Because there were so many of you all over there, were there a lot of opportunities to do dubbing for other films with stars that, like yourself, maybe didn't have enough time, so there was a whole other business opportunity there?
Yes, there was a lot of dubbing. Most of it was in Rome, some in Munich, also in Paris. But it was a big business. I know a lot of people who made a good living just doing dubbing.
Now, when they were shooting the films, because sometimes it was a Spanish crew with Italian stars, German, American stars, did they record the sound as you were shooting, or did that prevent them from moving as fast as they needed to do based on the budgets that they had?
The Europeans had no real history of sound. Dubbing was common mainly because they would do co-productions. Like my first film was Italian, Spanish, French, German, something else, American, I guess, co-production. The first film I did over there, I had a scene. My first scene in this film, 5 different actors were each speaking their own language, 5 different languages in this scene. Talk about confusion for an actor who, you know. But they would often shoot what they would call a Q track, which is a very poor quality sound recording that they could play back later when they were doing the dubbing, so the actors could remember what they had said. But I remember one film where it was financed by the Americans. I got on the set, and the second day, I guess it was, I saw this sound man with a little tiny tape recorder and a microphone on the end of a bamboo stick. I said, "What's he doing?" And they said, "Oh, he's doing the sound for the playback." I said, "Oh, well, okay." So I didn't worry about keeping my script because I knew that we had it recorded. So when we got to dubbing, I said, "Where's the script?" Oh, what had happened was the sound man, to save money, used the same reel of tape over and over. He turned it over, and turned it over, and turned, so we had no.
Oh, that didn't work too well.
No.
Well, that's probably one that didn't make it over to the States then.
Yes, it did. No, it's different. Now, even Italian productions are shot in English. I remember I was talking to the head of the Italian Actors Union, and they were going to go on strike because Italian actors couldn't get a job if they didn't speak English in Italian films.
Well, that slowed things down.
No, it didn't.
I want to thank Brett Halsey for being here.